we use the bike through an All Black season is varied, and I suppose, to be clear, I have a squad of 35, 40 players that we're trying to keep in peak physical condition week upon week upon week through a tour, of New Zealand and of the world. And so not every week are players involved in the match, and so we need to be creative and have ways of giving those athletes opportunity to get some exposure to some high intensity work that they might be missing out on. So in season, the bike has different purposes for different players. So whether that's trying to sharpen up physically for the performance on Saturday, and that could be high intensity speed work, it could be anaerobic lactate tolerance work, or it could be some basic endurance or recovery type sessions on the bike. And then we've got athletes that aren't playing, they're next off the bench, or they're looking for the opportunity. So they're doing other things to try and make sure that when they do get that opportunity, they're ready to go. So they'll be doing different sessions at different times of the week. The All Blacks don't really have a pre-season. The team is selected and we're playing a test match 2 weeks later. And so we basically use the Wattbike to get ready for games week upon week upon week. A lot of the athletes, a lot of the All Blacks own Wattbikes that I haven't paid for, the All Blacks haven't paid for. The players themselves have put their hand in their pocket and purchased. So that in itself says that they need the bike even when they're not with the team. I think if we're talking about peaking at a particular time in the season, then how I utilise the bikes a very structured, strategic way, in that we may be looking at, for some players within the team, needing to improve aerobic ability, so that ability to go the distance and play for 80 minutes. And so through that build to the peak, we'd be doing longer duration efforts, maybe a slightly lower intensity, to try and build that ability to last or to go the distance. And I suppose for other athletes, building up to that peak, we might be trying to improve our ability to recover between maximum efforts. So we might be having some 10, 15 second efforts with short rests, and we might be building the ability to tolerate a high repetition number, and maybe reduce that duration of the effort. So really it's not horses for courses, it's about what the individual needs and where the peak is, and then working backwards and figuring out, from a physiological perspective, what we need to achieve. The robustness and reliability of the bike is huge. We don't have a home base. We travel the world, or we travel around New Zealand every week to a different city, and we have use of different Wattbikes. And so that consistency between bikes, that data that's presented on one bike is the same on another bike, is really, really important. But also the fact that if we've got sessions planned, and it's really, really important sessions planned, we just can trust and know that the bike's going to hold up to it. As an S&C coach, working with a professional team like the All Blacks, there's an element of pressure associated with trying to create amazing athletes that can execute their role, can be part of the game plan, make good decisions when they're fatigued, execute their skill set when there's lots of pressure and fatigue, and not get hurt. And so the big issue for me is trying to make sure that our physical outputs are not going on a downward slope. We're constantly trying to get fitter, we're constantly trying to perform at a peak every week. And so to achieve that and have no risk of injuring athletes, that's my biggest dilemma as a professional S&C coach. So when I talk about the Wattbike and my passion for this tool, it comes from the fact that I feel like I can get gains in fitness or gains in specific aspects of physical performance and have very, very little risk of injury. And when I reflect on injury, I don't think I've seen an injury be sustained on a Wattbike. And I've been using them week in, week out for, 12 or 13 years now. So I can get athletes fitter, more powerful, quicker, and we've never had an injury.